All right, we're going live in a couple of minutes here at Heroic Episodes. I'm just making sure we're connected, and so everyone knows that we stream every Thursday here live at a Heroic Episodes. Barry Morgenstein and I. How you doing, Barry?
I'm good. Good to be back. Good to see you.
I have your book here.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, I love it. Good prop. I got one too.
Oh. Yes. It's funny because I see people posting and I always see rock and soul in the post. I love it.
I know, it's so great. Yeah.
Well, it looks like we are connecting and I'm getting texts from friends that are watching, which is great.
Hello, friends. Oh, I see us.
Yes, we do this live every Thursday at 7. Barry Morgenstein and I, we just love having on veterans, advocates, artists, people that are inspiring us, and their stories are just incredible. So it's our job every week to share those incredible individuals with you. And tonight we have a special guest, and I'm really honored. And I know, Barry, you feel the same way.
Absolutely.
Excited. Yes, and Ryan Weaver is a music artist, veteran Black Hawk pilot, 2-time Gold Star family member. Just completely honored to have him here, and been listening to his music, watching the music videos, following him on all his social media, reading about his story. And Barry, I am just really blown away by Ryan.
He's a great American, as they say, as good as they get.
Yes, and I know you and
what he's done for this country is just, incredible to be admired, and we're honored to have him.
So let's bring him on. Yeah. Hi, Ryan Weaver. Welcome to Heroic Episodes.
What's going on? Thank you guys so much for having me. And Barry, you're so nice, man. I appreciate that.
Oh my God. True words. Could have said more. So yeah, words that can't really express it. So what you've done for the country. So
thank you.
Absolutely. We are so grateful.
Good guy too. We've known each other a while. So honored to be
I was getting a little bit of that. Actually, Shelley met Ryan before you, and then yes.
Yeah. That's why I married Shelley, is this so I can meet Ryan.
That was the agenda.
Awesome. Yeah, no, and the first time I met Ryan, I came down with Shelley to the Warrior weekend, which you guys are getting ready to do, which I'm sure we're going to talk about that. But yeah, that was the first time. Saw your great, amazing band play, and got to meet you and hang out, have some drinks, and it was fun.
Nice.
So
it was great.
We've been friends ever since.
So Ryan, everything that we talk about is really about how someone takes pain, turns it into story, whether it's through music, through film, writing. And I think clearly your body of work, your music, I guess the first thing I just wanted to ask you was, how did that music start? And was it something that you found very healing when you first started singing and writing lyrics?
Well, the story is actually not your typical country music story as far as becoming an artist and how I got into music by any stretch of the imagination. I was going through divorce in the middle of flight school and was broke, and I needed some entertainment that didn't cost a whole lot of money. So I went downtown Dothan, Alabama, and went to there's a place called Blues Canyon. I don't even know if it's still there, but went down one night and they had karaoke. I think it was a Wednesday night or something. I wasn't flying that day or the next day. I think it might have been in a training bubble. And went down, and just sang. And the guy said, "Hey, we've got a competition every Thursday night. You ought to come out and get in it." And interestingly enough, Steve, my oldest brother, my older brother, he was there training up. I think it was for Yugoslavia or Bosnia, maybe in Bosnia. He was training up for Bosnia, I think. And we went down on that Thursday, and I did the competition, and I won that night. And I was like, "Wow, this is interesting. I really enjoyed doing this."
First
Love to
time you
sing.
did
I
it?
didn't know that it was something that I would be good enough to win a singing competition or a karaoke competition or anything like that. It's kind of funny because a lot of folks look at, there's Kenny Chesney has a song called Big Star, which I'm sure most folks out there have heard. And it's about a girl starting in karaoke and then becoming a big star on a big stage, that kind of thing. And it's actually kind of my story. But yeah, so I won that. And then I started doing more singing competitions because I realized being broke sucked, and not being able to pay your bills sucks.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
for the first time in a long time, I wasn't able to pay my bills, but I was winning. So I'd, win a television or win a cash prize. And I started going to the bars and stuff around the whole, around the area, not just in Dothan, and was winning these competitions or getting runner up or third or whatever, second or third or whatever. And it turned into every weekend I was trying to add some extra cash flow, if you know what I'm saying.
Sure.
So it was helping out. It was great. And I found out it was something that I was decent enough at and really enjoyed it. I loved getting in front of an audience and watching the audience respond and finding different ways to get them to respond, whether it be doing Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy and dancing on tables, or doing something like Amazed by Lone Star and,
Right.
throwing a love song out there. And I realized that if you charm the ladies in the audience,
Yeah.
it was a much better way to win than if you sucked for the ladies in the audience and they didn't cheer for you. So,
Right.
which is, and then I also learned about the club scene when it came to that and the performance aspect of it. And if you weren't bringing the ladies into the clubs, you weren't going to stay playing in that club, because that's really is the driving factor for
Were
club
you
money.
nervous? It doesn't sound like you were nervous at all.
I was I can't say that I was nervous. I think it was a nervous excitability at first. You get excited because I know that, and then I just did it, and it was so much fun. The nervousness the nervousness kind of slipped away pretty quickly. But my wife will tell you that I have no problem getting in front of people and speaking and those kind of things. And maybe it's just part of my personality. I loved performing as a kid. I did a couple plays as a kid and acting and just doing all that stuff. And I'd always been kind of loved the drama side of things, the acting and whatnot. But
I see that in your videos. There's definitely
we try to incorporate every single one of my videos some sort of a storyline at the beginning. A storyline that sets the stage for what is going to be told throughout the video, and then acting at the end as well. And my roles have been minimal, except for Crank It. Crank It was a pretty fun role in that one. But yeah, so I got restationed to Germany after flight school and was just doing karaoke there. It wasn't really there weren't really any competitions or anything like that, but did some just did it for fun. And then went to Iraq, and a buddy in my unit brought his guitar with him. And I've written poetry in the past. A lot of my friends that have known me all my life knew that I wrote poetry back as a kid and short stories and that kind of stuff. And so we started writing together in Iraq. And then I wrote the worst song that I've ever written, but I thought it was awesome at the time. The very first song. It was funny because, gosh, I look back at my ignorance, man, so Mark Wills and Daryl Worley came over for a USO tour. And I had no idea what I was talking about at the time. And of course, having a little bit of an ego as an aviator, we all got a little bit of an ego here and there, but mine has since been quelled. But I walked up to Mark Wills and I had this song. And I'm like, hey, I wrote this song here in Iraq. I'll see you at the CMA Awards. Like,
that's great.
And I look back at that moment because I actually got to hang out with Mark later on. He came to Dothan, Alabama when I got restationed back from Germany to Fort Rucker, and he came there and I messaged his people, or somebody messaged his people somehow. I ended up getting to hang out with him on his bus in Dothan, and he remembered that story from me saying that, and I was like, yeah, how stupid I am, because I hadn't even started in the club scene at that point. I was just
Hey,
I
Ryan,
just saw him in the bar,
Shelley,
but yeah, I started
Shelley's
writing in
saying
Iraq, and
hi.
then as the story goes, Aaron was killed in action. My brother was killed in action on January 8th in 2004, and that was the catalyst to me starting to chase my dreams in country music, and it's all a big story from there.
Well, I love how you turned the pain and the loss of your brother and your brother-in-law into music and storytelling. It's really powerful, and you have a lot of people that love you here. I just want you to know that Shelley is saying, "Hey, Ryan," and
What's up, Shelley? Oh,
Angie, and
I'm actually on my laptop here looking at the thing. Yeah,
oh,
thanks,
good.
Shelley. I appreciate you saying I'm a natural. I love it. It's my I look at being on stage as a way to let people forget about their lives if they need to. 3 minutes and 10 seconds at a time. We used to say it. Now it's 2 minutes and 50 seconds at a time. Because the songs have gotten shorter as we've gotten further into it. But yeah.
Hey, Nicole, thanks for tuning in. Good to see you here.
Ryan, do you remember the name of the worst song ever written? What was
what was it? It was actually a song.
That is the title of the worst song ever written.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, that's it. The worst song ever written. It was I can't remember. And she cries. It was essentially about my mom. My mom and us being in combat. I think something like that. And it was just the only reason I say it was the worst song I've ever written is because I didn't know a whole lot about phrasing. I didn't know a whole lot about alliterations and inner rhymes and end rhymes and that kind of stuff when it came to songwriting. I used to put a lot of that stuff into my poetry, but it was just more of a basic. I look back at the lyrics on some of the things that I've written, and as I've had more time as writing songs with folks and being in rooms with amazing songwriters and learning about how to put those things in there to make it sound smoother coming off the tongue, those kind of things, as we call it, music candy or ear candy. Those kind of things that I didn't really incorporate a whole lot of that into that one. There were some rhymes and end rhymes were fine, but the alliterations and phrasing really made it more of an awkwardly singing song than anything. But I do have to say, can't necessarily say it's the worst song I've ever written because it was the first one. It was a learning experience, and it was about my mom. And since then, I've written some pretty big bombs in that regard too, that are sitting off on a shelf someplace collecting dust.
Yeah. Well, I have a lot of those VHS tapes from my acting when I first moved to New York City.
Nice.
Do you remember those? Yes. And
oh my goodness.
You open up a bottle of wine and you look at them and you laugh. So it's fun.
Oh,
but you had to start there to get here, right?
Of course. So, absolutely.
I was watching the music video Burn. Really loved that, and saw Barry's friend, your mutual friend Tonto, in that video. And yeah.
Tig's in it too, right?
That's what you were saying, right, Ryan?
Tig Barry, you had a question?
Is Tig also in that video, if I remember?
Yep, Tig's in the video as well.
Yeah, Tonto and Tig, great video.
Yeah, Tig and Tonto and Burn were really the reason why I met you as well, I believe. Right. I think that Tig was down for that event. Right. I don't know if Chris came down for the event you came down to.
No, another one, but it was like the second or third that we had been.
I got you. I remember the one I met you at, and I know Tig was there for that one.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I had this song already written as a general military song, and I got asked by Charlie Daniels and David Corlew, his manager, to perform at the Volunteer Jam at Bridgestone Arena in Nashville. It was their 25th anniversary or 15th, I can't remember, 40th. I think it's 40th, but the Volunteer Jam, a lot of folks don't know, Charlie Daniels did the Volunteer Jam since 1969 with the original Lynyrd Skynyrd before they crashed.
Wow.
And this was his anniversary Volunteer Jam, and he asked me to perform. I ended up in between Ted Nugent and Michael W. Smith, and it was also my first sold-out arena performance with him. And we had I sang Never Forgotten, which we released with Professional Bull Riders. And actually, no, I sang What You Think of Me, which we just released as a single. I forgot about that.
Mhm.
But Mark Geist and Tig were at the Volunteer Jam promoting 13 Hours and got to meet both of them, really cool dudes at the time. And, you know, I connected with Mark first, and I told him I had a song, and I knew that they were still in post with the film, and I didn't know if they had the score done yet for it. And I was hoping that I could get the song in the film, because if they hadn't got the score up, obviously everybody knows that licensing for music for an independent artist can be a gold mine. And
Sure.
I was hoping it would potentially be. I mean, I've learned in the music business, it's always a no if you don't ask. And it can be a yes all the way up until they tell you no because you ask too much. I understand that too. But it's still a no if you don't ask the first time, regardless.
Of course.
But, you know, Mark was there for the weekend, and I had dinner with him and a beer and just asked him, like, hey, you know, what do you think? Would you be willing to approach the folks? Because I didn't really know Tig that well at that point, and I didn't know Mark that well either, but he was hanging around for the weekend. So I just asked him if he wanted to, you know, go grab a beer, and he said, yeah. So, but he offered to bring it to the Paramount folks, and I let him listen to the song, and it was an acoustic vocal at the time. And we changed the lyrics up a little bit to make it a little bit more specific to the movie and what they went through. Because I hadn't seen the movie yet. Didn't really know the whole story because it hadn't gone national, you know, at the level it was about to go. And so he changed up the lyrics just a little bit to make it more fitting for that film. And at that time, Mark kind of, he got super busy, I guess, and kind of dropped off the radar. But then I started becoming really good friends with John. We just connected over social media and telephone calls and whatnot. And he actually approached Paramount to see if we could get it in the film. And by the time that we got it recorded as a full song and mastered and all that, it took a little bit of time to do. They finished the score. So unfortunately, we didn't get it into the film. But I started talking to John about the music video concept that I had and how I wanted to incorporate, if possible, obviously him in it, and maybe Mark, if Mark was available, and if he knew, you know, if any of the other guys would want to be in it. And he said, yeah, I'll reach out to Chris. So he reached out to Chris for me. And what a lot of folks don't realize in the entertainment industry, especially as an independent artist, a lot of what we do has to be self-funded by, you know, crowdfunding or by yourself. If, you know, you're getting shows, those kind of things. And at that time I was doing smaller shows, but the pay was still not there for me to be able to get it funded. Essentially, I was just breaking even on shows. And Chris came on board, and I talked about the concept of the video to Chris. And when Chris came on board, we really, he started getting on social media and helping me out doing fundraising. And then John had a custom AK-47 made that he auctioned off, and that custom AK-47 went for 15 grand. And that was the base funding for the music video for us to get it off the ground, because I had to book airline tickets. I started booking airline tickets immediately and reserving hotel rooms immediately. And the production company that I was going to work with had to do a deposit with them, but we still had a significant amount of money to raise. And that's, like I said, Chris came on board for social media, and he really was like the steroid shot for getting the fundraising done, because he was a lot more popular at the time. And then John reached out to Paramount to see if we could use the trailer clips for the film as an advertisement, essentially promotional for the film. So there are some multi-million-dollar scenes in my video.
Benghazi.
What's that?
You're talking about 13 Hours Benghazi.
Yeah, 13 Hours Secret Soldiers of Benghazi. Sorry, y'all out there who haven't seen the movie. Great movie. The trailer clips from it, we got some multi-million-dollar clips in my music video that I would have never been able to afford. But Paramount gave me authorization to use the trailer clips in my music video.
That's
as
amazing.
promotion, and they didn't make me pay for them. They just licensed them to me, and John talked them, and that could have been incredibly expensive. So
Sure.
really, I can without a doubt say that specifically due to Oz talking to me about the song and changing the song up, but more particularly John Tigan and Chris Peranto really made Burn what it was, because not only were they willing to help me get it funded, they were willing to be involved in the video itself. I had a very specific idea of the storyline and how I was going to present the storyline. We got the trailer clips pretty quickly so that I could send them to the production company so that they knew how they were going to incorporate them into the storyline. And it just really came together. There were so many, sponsorship, product placement sponsorships that we ended up getting into the video. A lot of people don't think about all those different things that go into funding music videos.
Sure. It's a production. It's expensive.
It really is. It really is.
Like making a film.
Little mini movie, basically.
Yeah, mini movie, absolutely. And for those of you that have not seen it, please go to Ryan's website, because his music, his videos are incredible and really admirable that you're able to do all this with starting out with karaoke, starting out and then really self-financing, that indie spirit. I think I talked to you about that before. I really love that, especially, filmmakers the same way, we, whatever it takes to get it done, and usually it's friends and family that come together to support you because they believe in you. And it's amazing also not having a big record label that you're on stage at the Grand Ole Opry. I mean, that is just. Can you tell us about that moment? Because I'm sure it must have been surreal.
Well, first and foremost, if I may go back to the friends and family thing, because, I just posted a post about how important it is to me that a must-have part of my music videos and are having my friends and family involved directly in those music videos in one way or another. I wouldn't have been able to stand on the stage of the Grand Ole Opry or the Ryman Auditorium stage or in Bridgestone Arena without my father-in-law and my wife essentially saving my music career before I got to do those things. And you and I spoke about this on the phone last night. And essentially, I came to Nashville. I retired from the military, and I came to Nashville. The only safety net I had was my retirement check, and at the time, I was still paying child support and different things like that made me as broke as a private in the military. But you go from a military paycheck down to a third of into a retirement check, and then obviously the bills are still there. So I was living poor, but I ended up meeting my wife, Kara, and I was going to college full time for my master's degree. I was a bar back and a personal trainer, essentially working 15, 18-hour days, 7 days a week. And my father-in-law called me to his house, and he said, Kara's a corporate meeting planner, and she was, working in his house at the time. And he called me to his house and said, Ryan, I noticed that you came to Nashville to do music, and I haven't seen you doing any music since I've known you. And this was a good amount of time, several months. And I said, well, I got to pay the bills, and Post 911 Montgomery GI Bill gives me basic allowance for housing. And, I got 2 part-time jobs, and I didn't want to take a full-time job because of the music side of things. If I could get back into it. And he said, well, how much do you need a month to pay your bills? And I said, well, this is my budget to pay my bills. And he said, well, I will pay you that salary. If you work 3 hours a week or 80 hours a week, I'll pay you that salary, but I want you to get back into music.
Wow.
And,
that's incredible.
Every time I talk about that, I get emotional.
Sure.
Because nothing that I've done that most people know, including Crank It, you name it, none of that stuff would have happened had I not met Kara and her dad, essentially bringing me on like family to save. And they both saved my music career. And then, I got to meet John and them and get involved with the Charlie Daniels group because of David Corlew. Sorry, guys. Anybody that's ever watched me on stage knows I cry when things matter because I don't care what people think. When I'm
I
talking
love
about things that matter,
That is
I get
such a
emotional.
great that's a great strength, right, Barry, to be able to
Absolutely.
express your emotion like that,
Yep.
and Shelley is saying she listened to Burn on repeat during my marathon training. What You Think of Me is my favorite, really hits hard, and then Pam is saying, "Wow, that's amazing, such a blessing," talking about your father-in-law. That is a blessing. You feel
Yeah.
like Kara and her family were angels, were blessings to you then? Sounds like that.
Yeah, even the happenstance of meeting her and the way that I met her, it was all because of, just pure luck. It really was. I fell in love with her the first time I saw her, and it was pure luck. But Don, her dad, has always treated me like one of his own from the get-go, and has just been an incredible human being to me in that regard. And like I said, I did Crank It, and the little kid Drake Dixon, who's in the music video Crank It.
He's adorable. I love
Yeah,
that
he was
little
in
kid.
Randy Houser's Boots On as well. He was the kid in the back of the seat in the video for Randy Houser's Boots On. But I wrote with his dad, and his mom was the manager at the Palm, and the Journey Home Project had an event, and she brought me in. Paige brought me in to talk to the Journey Home Project, essentially about speaking at their event, their annual event, and it was Charlie Daniels, essentially namesake nonprofit organization. And he brought me in to speak and perform. I wrote a song called Long Journey Home for him. And anyway, David wanted to meet with me. It was like, I don't know, that was on a Friday or whatever. And then he took me to breakfast a couple of days after that. And he asked me why I wasn't telling my story. Like, my music was commercial, and I wasn't talking too much about my story and singing songs about, patriotic songs and that kind of stuff. And he said, country music can really see through contrived stuff. And he said, I believe that your music is real. And because Crank It was really about, it was legitimately talking about, music, or my type of woman at the time when I wrote it, all that stuff. But he said, I'd really like to try and help you out in whatever way possible. I believe you've got a story to tell people, and I believe country music needs to hear what you have to say. And I got essentially invited to perform at the Volunteer Jam at that point. And that was 2014. So the Volunteer Jam was scheduled for 2015. And he had a Christmas special in 2014 at the Ryman. And I'm just like, once again, if you don't ask, it's always a no. So I just texted David and I said, hey, would it be possible for me to open up for Charlie at the Ryman? And he said, sure.
Wow.
There you go.
Amazing.
Yeah.
He was just that generous. And then when I performed at the Volunteer Jam, the Volunteer Jam was first. I'm trying to think of the dates on it. And then September 11th, 2015, once again, I asked David, I was like, hey, since I got to perform at Ryman, what do you think about, what about, is Charlie going to be on the Opry? I said, it just so happens he's performing on September 11th, and he's hosting that night. So yeah, sure. So September 11th, 2015, I got to make my debut on the Grand Ole Opry stage with none other than the iconic Charlie Daniels introducing me and hosting that night. And I watched that video every single time, and I can remember like it was yesterday. The Ryman Auditorium was amazing because it was the mother church of country music, and obviously playing in front of my first sold out crowd in an arena was incredible as well. But when you walk on that stage and stand in that circle on the Grand Ole Opry, it is just one of those pinnacle moments in your career. I mean, I've done Madison Square Garden since then. I've done 41,000 in front of 41,000 at AT&T Stadium. I did 28 arenas with the professional bull riders, and it's really hard to find a moment that is more of something I could call a pinnacle in my music career. And I've only got to do it once. I've tried to get back on, since then. Obviously, Charlie's no longer with us. I don't know a whole lot of people that are Opry members, and you got to be invited to perform, on the Opry. There's somebody that's hosting. I did reach out to Mark Wills It is kind of like one of those things. I don't know if it's a faux pas or something on my part to ask to perform on the opera you're supposed to be invited. But if the person doesn't know you want to perform on it, then how would they know if you don't ask? So,
well, I think,
anyway,
I think when you take the stage, from everything that I've watched with you, and I'm sure Barry, you'll agree that people are very receptive when you're just being truthful and real. And that's what we are all attracted to, the truth. So your truth comes through because you step on stage and you start to talk and you start to tell the story, whether it's about, losing your brother-in-law, your service. I mean, you just wear your heart on your sleeve, that expression, and people love that and we're drawn to that. And then you start in with the music, and it's a beautiful journey that you take your audience on. It really is.
Sit in person. I thought the photo you just flashed up before is a shot I got of Ryan with his arms outstretched, and you could just see the audience react.
You took this, Barry?
Yeah, I took that one. That was one of the first in Florida, but I love it because he's got.
That was a heck of a night, wasn't it, Barry?
It was. Look at the expressions on the people in the audience. I mean, you just captured them, and they just loved you, and it was such a great show. What a great night that was.
We have a pre-show ritual. We do what's called the Weaver Country Huddle, and essentially we get in a circle, and Trey leads us in prayer, and then since the very first time I've ever played with a band, I've said it every single performance, that this is the last performance we're ever going to have to leave it on stage, because you never know if you're going to step off that stage and never step back on it again. And without fail, we try to leave it on stage every single time. And I think that, like I said, I like to let people forget about their lives 3 minutes and 10 seconds at a time, because a great deal of the folks that are my demographic in my audience are people that have PTS or have struggles or have situations like you have, and, Lisa, like what we talked about on the phone last night, and why you actually got started in doing this, and having the relatability in the lyrics and being honest in the lyrics. But the one thing I always try to do the most is make people in the audience feel as if they could be standing up on stage doing it with me. Like they could be like, I'm just some dude that's getting to get up there and do something that I love, and that is, that I have as much fun doing it, because, I've told Trey a long time ago, the moment that I stop having fun on stage is the moment that I'm not going to step on stage anymore. There's just no reason to do it. Now, can I say that there have been some really crappy shows that I've had to play, and that I've played to empty rooms before, and that, there is no return energy to draw from. You're essentially just kind of rehearsing out there on stage with nobody to watch. Absolutely. I have been I cannot tell you the number of shows that I've done like that, where, we've had a full band travel for 8 hours, and, it gets rained out or something like that ends up happening, but we played anyway, and everybody, a lot of folks ended up leaving or whatever it may be. Either way, I tell everybody, if there are 4 people in front of me or there are 40,000, you're going to get the same exact show regardless of it, because like I tell the guys, doesn't matter who's out there, we leave it on stage because we never know if we're going to get that opportunity again. And I glean, I don't want to say glean, that's kind of a weird word to say. I got that insight or that perspective simply because, a lot of folks that are watching don't know that I lost both Aaron, my brother, and my brother-in-law, Randy Billings. Aaron was killed in Iraq. That was Aaron and Steve. So Aaron is on my right, your left as you're looking at it. And Steve, my older brother, that's when I still had hair. But Aaron was killed in Iraq in 2004, and Randy was killed in Afghanistan in 2013. And, I had plans with Aaron to get a house next to each other on a lake and go fishing, and, raise our kids together, or at least have our kids hang out together. And he was a superhero. He survived Mogadishu, the ambush in Mogadishu. He survived cancer, got a waiver to be deployed. was in the back of a medevac helicopter when it was shot down. He's killed in action. A lot of folks that know me know this story. But it's, there's a question on here I'm going to answer as well. But, yep. But once when he was killed in action, everything got flipped upside down. And I realized that that's when, like I said, it was the catalyst to me starting my music career. I needed to start chasing my dreams because I'd followed in his and Steve's footsteps, essentially my entire military career. And now I needed to make some footsteps on my own or of my own. Pamela asked real quick, have I ever been nominated for a Josie Music Award? Quite honestly, no. I've never actually been invited to one of those music awards, and I don't have anything against them. For me, once I got to those are great for independent artists who are trying to make it in the business and get their name out there and those kind of things. And I don't think it's less than me by any stretch of the imagination. But once I got to the point to where I was performing at the larger venues, I was more focused on the potential of getting a record deal, having a song on the radio, performing at larger and larger venues, continuing that route on things. And there are a lot of artists that are independent artists that get the same, do the same thing as far as the Josie music, and they've gotten as higher than I've achieved in country music. But it was just never a focus of mine to try and get those kind of awards. At the very beginning, when you're first starting in the bar band scene, for me, I'd always try and do social media things to vote for me on Reverb Nation so that I could get my song up there, to the top of the charts or stay on Reverb Nation. When Crank It came out, that was one of the big platforms. When it was on national television, that was on CMA Online, or on CMT Online, just keeping it up there for that exposure in that regard. But I kind of, when the Josie Awards started getting bigger like they are, because they're in pretty big venues now here in Nashville, I was looking at the artists that are on there, and I only know a couple of them or have heard of a couple of them that are out there. So it just was never a focus of mine after that point, trying to get any kind of awards or accolades. I was focusing really on branding, merchandising, partnership brands, and then really, really big focused on the PBR side of things. So I don't want anybody to think that I think the Josie Awards or anything like that are below me, because they're not. But it just wasn't a focus of mine to try and be nominated for those kind of things. It was kind of like one of those circumstances for me, that when I was a bar back for the Wild Horse Saloon, and we did a tour of the Opry, because it was part of Gaylord Properties at the time. It's now owned by Marriott, but the Gaylord Properties had it, and we did a tour of the Opry, and they knew that all the people that were doing these bar backs and bartenders and all that stuff, we're all in town for music, one way or another, right. Because you go downtown, you got a server, they're in town for music. And they asked everybody when we were on the stage, hey, you want to stand in the circle and see what it feels like to stand in a circle and sing on the Opry stage? And they're like, Ryan, I know you're here as an artist. And I said, no, I'm not going to stand on that stage until I earn it. I'm not going to stand in that circle until I earn it, or until I'm asked by somebody, because I knew that somebody had to ask. And it's just one of those things, and I started focusing on potentially, if I was going to do anything more, the baseline steps of getting my songs out to radio, or getting into bigger arenas and performing as opposed to trying to get an award. So I hope that was a really long answer, Pamela. I hope I didn't say something to offend any Josie Music Award fans out there, because absolutely no disrespect. D-Rock is one of the coolest cats I ever met, and he and I knew each other back when I was just getting started. One of the most phenomenal guitar players, and got the utmost respect for the grind that guy has. I don't know a whole lot of the other artists that have been up for him. So anyway, that's me flying north of Baghdad just before Christmas time in 2003.
What a photo!
Yeah, I love that. Just wanted to put that up there. I know Vince Beauvais said thank you so much. He just loves listening to your story, and I saw someone else on there, and I can't find it now.
I know Bad Rob is with us.
Bad Rob,
Hey,
yeah.
I saw Bad Rob. I noticed he said hi to Shelly, but he didn't say hi to me. Thanks, Rob. I love you too, man.
You don't like that one either.
Everybody's gonna say hi to Shelly.
Yeah, I
Of
know.
course they are. She's
She
stunning.
she is legitimately, and my wife would say the same thing. You know that I'm not saying this with disrespect, and of course, Barry, this is a huge compliment to you. She is legitimately one of the most beautiful people on the planet. She legitimately is. She's just.
She is.
She not only is she a class act, she's absolutely gorgeous too, beautiful in a beautiful sense, inside and out. And
Inside and out.
you know,
yes.
she's. But I would say she was ugly if she was an ugly person. I would never say she's beautiful. She's just an incredible person inside and out. So
Thank you.
couldn't have happened to a better
I'm
person as well, Barry. You meeting her?
I'm a lucky man.
Yes.
Yeah, she's amazing.
You both found each other, and
Thank
it
you.
was meant to be. And
Appreciate that.
it sounds like Ryan, the same thing happened in your life with Carrie. and I
Absolutely.
just love that.
And that's where the compliment came from.
Right.
Yes.
That's where the compliment came from, is because I know, like, my wife is 5'11" and I'm not. I always like to say she's like monkey bars on a playground. And
That's great. I
I
never
gotta reach
heard
up,
that.
if you know what I'm saying. But to put my arms around her shoulders and give her a kiss, she always has to lean down. It's kind of funny, but I'm super proud of it when she wears her 3-inch platforms and we walk into a place and I've got my arm around her waist right here.
I love it.
And she's got her elbow down on my shoulder down here. But anyway, I'm kidding. That's always my.
That's great.
That's great.
Ryan, so I have a quick question about it, because I grew up in the 70s, so I know the volunteer jams with Charlie Daniels, and huge Skynyrd fan. Actually, I had tickets to see Lynyrd Skynyrd, and the plane crash happened, so I always regret not seeing them. But so tell us about Charlie Daniels. Has to be I know he's a big patriot, loves the veterans, and so tell us what it was like to work with him, and what a good guy he probably was, I should say.
Yeah.
Well, I got to be honest with you. I have not. I don't think I've ever gotten starstruck with somebody other than Charlie Daniels.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And the thing is, he's so honest. When you actually, I wouldn't say he's unassuming, because he was a mountain of a man.
Right.
I mean, he was a lot taller than I expected when I met him in person.
Even without the hat, right? He was a big
even without the hat. Yeah. I don't know if he was like 6'3", 6. I mean, he was a tall human being.
Yeah.
But the first time that he talked to me, he acted like he had known me forever. And he had these grandpa hugs. Like, he would give you a real hug, like a hold on to you, take a moment hug.
Really
and it's, he actually, inspired me to hug like that, because it was usually pretty uncomfortable for another dude to hug you for that long. Unless it was, your dad or something like that. But I learned that there's something calming about that, and just how good it makes you feel when you come out of one of those genuine good hugs for somebody that, and he was a hugger. He hugged everybody, but he treated me with the utmost respect. And hold on, my laptop just turned dark, so I can't see my screen. Okay, I think my laptop died. I can't see the chat now anymore, so I apologize, guys. But he treated me with the utmost respect, and he talked about me. They filmed some things of him talking about me. He was the final approval on whether I was going to make these performances or not. He brought me out on stage, obviously on the Opry, but he also brought me out on stage and gave me a big old hug, and in the sold out Bridgestone Arena. I mean, it was just incredible to know someone who stuck to who they were. A lot of folks don't realize he was a guitar player and learned to play the fiddle for Devil Went Down to Georgia. He was a better guitar player than a fiddle player. David told me about that. He came into town as a guitar player.
Wow.
He's a phenomenal guitar player. I mean, he was one of the best you'll ever see. But he treated me with the utmost respect and kindness, and legitimately, when I walked into the room with him and he acted like that, I felt like I was in the right place. He made you feel like you belonged, and and the fact that he stuck to who he was, conservative Christian, really cared about the troops, genuinely supported troops, raised so much money for veterans, but genuinely just cared about it. And in a day day and age when later on in his life, when country music really started turning left, and Los Angeles and New York really owned a lot of Nashville, he stuck to his guns on it. Mm-hmm. And it also made me feel proud in that I could be a conservative, patriotic artist and continue that route and still potentially be able to find success. And then he takes me to these places like Bridgestone Arena, Ryman Auditorium, and the Grand Ole Opry, and I get to put those on my resume, which turned into even bigger opportunities because I was working with them. And David Corlew, his manager, same with him. Like, I mean, he got hounded daily on people that wanted to work with Charlie, and he opened up his arms to me graciously. And you just don't. I know that there are a lot of people in country music that are great people, but to have an icon like that open up his arms to you and really treat you, he didn't treat me like I was any less of an artist than he was when I was around him. He didn't.
Right.
That's just priceless, and it's something that I've always tried to recognize when there are other artists that are on the bill. I always bring them up to perform with me. I don't know if a lot of folks have ever come to my shows and seen that. And I want them to know that I care about the grind that they're going through, and also care about the show that they put on, the time that they put in, and usually the audience that they don't get, those kind of things. And I got that perspective a lot from the way that Charlie treated me.
I love that. Yeah, you're passing that kindness forward, and that's really can mean so much to an independent artist. And
it absolutely can. And the one thing that I was always told as well, and this was because it was a lesson learned from somebody who ended up failing later in life, as far as being an artist is concerned, you see the same people coming up as you see going down. With the moment that their career is over and they're no longer performing on those same stages, they come back down to performing on the same stage as you are, and you may be going up and be the headliner.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it is what it is.
And it's also, I've had situations with certain actors, A-list actors that I've met on set, and they were just complete assholes. And that was so disappointing, because, you watch them and you're a big fan and you love their work, and then you meet them and they're not a nice person. So to hear that, I love that, because when someone that you admire and look up to as an artist treats you kind and they're humble, and I think that's just beautiful. Sorry.
Absolutely. And speaking of meeting your idols and them being assholes, hey, Barry, I got this book from you.
Oh, wow.
This book from you. And how long did we know you before I got this book from you? How long did we know each other?
Oh, well, the book came out only 5 months ago. So
we've known each other almost a decade.
Yeah. Don't tell me I spelled your name wrong.
I'm telling you, you didn't even put my name in the book.
Barry, what the hell? Come on.
What kind of an asshole does that to a friend? I'm kidding, man. I'm kidding. He signed it for me. I was happy. I was gonna put my middle finger up on that one, but I didn't, pointing to your name. Well, I'm just kidding. This is just me joshing with an amazing friend. And no, I actually I was talking to Elise about doing this last night as a joke, man. No, I was grateful to get this book, and I was probably one of the first people to ever order it as well. Yeah,
that's why.
And I'm anxious to if I know that I'm going to be seeing you again. Trust me, I will have this book with me, because it would mean so much more to me to have you sign it in person and get a photo with you doing it, because one of the most iconic photographers in the United States, and he considers me a friend, and that's. And you've always treated me with the same that same respect, and I can't thank you enough for that, Barry.
All right, since we're roasting Barry,
I appreciate it.
We're
then I realized that you went
I'm jumping on it too.
I would have written a lot more.
You did. You only signed your name on hers?
Because you both went through Amazon pre-order.
I know. That's true. We didn't get
once
it
from became available. That's when I started writing personal messages. So you know what that means? You guys just got to order another book.
Yeah, that's a great excuse, Barry. That's a great excuse. You still had to sign it, and you knew I bought it.
No, we got to.
I'm just messing with you, man. I'm just messing with you. No, I'm going to be grateful to, like I said, for you to sign in person and get a picture of us with you signing together.
But I appreciate those photos you took.
Now we have a reason to all get together in Tennessee. Yeah. We can go see retired Army Captain Leslie Nicole Smith. We can go see Pamela Arnell. And who else? Joe Bowser and all our friends in Tennessee. Now we have a reason. We will bring your book and we'll bring Barry.
Well, in all fairness, Barry, you have told me since you met me to come and get headshots from you. Right. And I've been to New York twice since then and not arranged to have headshots with you. And I apologize for that because Lord knows I need some new headshots. I got great headshots by a guy named Manny Cabo. A great friend of mine, amazing artist. He was on The Voice, just incredible vocalist, songwriter, all that. But I got some headshots with him when we were doing the cover photo for Like a Love Song. We kind of I did a double whammy on that one, got a cover shot and some headshots at the same time. But next time, either I'm up in New York or you're coming to Tennessee, we definitely need to, or, you know, if you just want to, whatever. Next time I see you, come down to Warrior Weekend. We got to talk about that one, by the way.
Yeah, we definitely have to talk about that.
Tell us about that. When is it?
So Warrior Weekend is usually every September 11th, and looking at off the top of my head, it's going to be. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I think it's the week before that, the Friday before that, and we've changed the venue in today's economy. A lot of folks are holding on to their money, and it was difficult for the Warrior Shield Foundation to get the sponsorships and whatnot for the event, for the entire event. So essentially, we've turned it into just a concert event, and we're gonna be at a venue, and Tuffy's is what it's called. But I've been posting on my social media, and now it's just it's a concert at a I think it's a bar or country club in Sampson. Okay. I gotta be honest with you. They just started posting about it, and I was so focused on getting this music video done. I was just sharing everything that Chance in the Warrior Shield Foundation we're putting out there. But there'll be a whole lot more posting as we get closer to the event. But would love to have you guys come down for that one. But it's just a one-night thing, so we'd love to have you out there.
Yeah, I miss it because we went twice, as you know, in the past. So we miss coming down. It's always a great time. Are you guys still?
Yeah, and this year we're supporting the Border Patrol Foundation too. So we're going to be supporting our Border Patrol agents and their families. So it'll be great.
Awesome.
That's great.
And this is your
I donated a book this time around, so I don't know if you guys are still going to do the auction because I did donate a book to you for you guys.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm sure Chance would welcome anything, obviously, and I think they're going to have online silent auction as well. I think they're going to still try and have all those same fundraising things we do at a gala, but just at a concert night in a different venue.
Okay.
Michael Mazzio says hello. Hello, Michael Mazzio.
Hey, Michael.
Hey, what's up, Mike? Michael.
Michael's a talented actor. Yes, he is. And Angie wants to come with us to Tennessee. I think we're collecting people here for Tennessee trip.
That sounds great.
Amazing. Ryan, is there anything you want to say to anyone out there, whether they are military or civilian, when it comes to storytelling? If they have a story to tell, but they're holding it inside, and maybe any encouraging words that you can share with someone out there that might be struggling and maybe has a story that they need to tell or talk about.
I mean, there are a lot of for heroes. There are a lot of organizations out there. If you don't know how to even write a song or something, where they match up songwriters with heroes to help them let music be their catharsis. It's been mine. It's been every time I got on stage, I made a promise to myself that I would tell Aaron's story, and then it turned into telling Randy's story as well. And there's a little bit of healing that happens each time, but. You know, we talked about this a bit last night, and I do motivational speaking and for all different types of audiences. And one of the audiences I spoke to were surviving family members, not necessarily Gold Star, but toxic exposure, deaths, deaths to toxic exposure, suicide, all those things of survivor families. But the piece of advice I give them could apply to anyone who has suffered through a situation, a PTS situation, whether it be domestic violence or whether it be losing a family, and it doesn't even have to be a PTS situation, just losing a family, whatever it may be. And I say that you have a choice, and everyone has a choice who's been through something that could potentially bring you down to, or has brought you down to ground zero, or even below that, and keeps you down, and potentially. And the moment that you decide, and truly decide for yourself, to take that loss or that situation, if it's a loss, to choose to live your life in that person's honor, in the way that they would have wanted you to live. But you have to choose it, because even though you may want to, there are things that may hold you back from it. Or look at that negative situation that happened to you, whether it be that domestic violence situation or whatever it is. Take that situation and use it to fuel your fire to make a difference with it. And that's the reason why, when Aaron died, that was the catalyst to my career. And there is nothing like that kind of fuel to your fire when you have it in your corner. It's irreplaceable, because as I tell people, there's nothing in my life that's ever going to get worse than having to sit down and go to the bathroom in a 180-degree porta potty in Iraq.
Oh my God.
And the day that my brothers died. Nothing's going to get worse than that for me. And I look at those bad moments and say, I've already been to that bottom, and I'm going to use that loss, my losses and my circumstances, to fuel my fire to be successful. Because Lord knows Aaron pushed me to be successful every single day. I followed in his footsteps. He was my standard bearer for performances and everything that I did. He wouldn't want it any different. He was the reason I graduated top of my class in flight school. He graduated fourth in his class. I graduated top, but he was the reason, because he was there pushing me to graduate the top of my class in flight school. He gave me advice. He gave it willingly and selflessly, and he didn't care whether I beat him or not. He wanted his little brother to do better than he did. And
Nice.
That's the way that you have to take on that perspective. And I hope that somebody's listening out there and decides today that that's what they're going to do, is take that loss or take that hardship and flip your perspective on it. Because and this was the last point that I always made. I remember when I was a teenager and I fell in love with a girl or whatever it was, or I was emotional about something, because I always wear my emotions on my sleeve or whatever it is. And I would say, well, I can't help the way that I feel. And that is an incredibly ignorant, naive statement. I mean, it is incredibly ignorant and naive, because legitimately, if you change the way that you see things and the way that you think about things, it changes the way that you feel, and it changes your heart. It really does. And that can truly be the catalyst to your success story, if you choose to take those losses and let them fuel your fire to find it.
Amen. Great way to put it. Great. So true. So true. After my assault, there was a long length of time where I was the victim, and I felt sorry for myself, and why me? And it wasn't until I started to help someone else, the focus was put on others. That empowered me. That helped me to heal. And then it fueled me. And I love that you shared that, and really appreciate it. And I know Barry appreciates it too, because it's not many people will talk openly about that pain. And I think when you're on stage and you're singing, and I was watching all your videos, and I'm like, wow, everyone in that audience is feeling you, and they're feeling the truth, and they're feeling the emotion. And we love that. I mean, that's what we are. We're human. That's the way we're built. So I think that's great advice. And yeah, I hope if anyone is struggling, that they're hearing your words and your truth, and it empowers them to honor whoever they've lost, or honor themselves, and just move forward and be empowered, because passing that on to someone else, it's just incredible. I
Well,
know
their legacy was the ultimate sacrifice. So what's my legacy going to be? And they were willing to give everything that they had so that we could chase our dreams in these great United States of ours. So what kind of a legacy do I want to leave? And is it a legacy that they would want to see? And that's what you think of me is really about. That's what the song really is.
It's beautiful.
Is what you think of me. I know we're getting into an hour and
Yes.
At the end of it. And if anything before we talk about socials, if there's I could do a selfless plug, and I hate doing this because it is what it is.
Please
But
do it. Plug
Karen
away.
Bingham, Karen Bingham, her son is. A lot of folks know the "Let's Roll" statement in the Pennsylvania flight, and her son was the gentleman that said that. And Karen Bingham came on board for my next music video called "I Want to Go Back" that I have in a song called with Craig Campbell. We just shot the music video, and she came on board to be an angel producer for that. And we still don't have it all the way funded. And if there's anybody out there that's listened to this story that wants to be part of that legacy, we're looking for 1 or 2 more angel producers to get that project finished and to have the marketing dollars to put behind it to get it out there. I hate asking for money for myself. I have no problem asking for money from other folks, for other people. I know this is my project, and yes, I'm going to benefit from having a song and a music video out there. But when you guys watch this music video and the concept that we got for it, you're really going to be proud of the message that it portrays and the impact that it's going to have on people, I hope.
Nice. How do we donate?
If you can reach directly out to me through my social medias. I run on my own social media pages. If you email my website, I answer all my own emails. This is not a if you reach out to Barry through his website, he can message me if you don't want to talk to me directly. I'm kidding. But I just saw his website go up there. That was cool. But anyway, not to be so serious about that. But if you're messaging me directly, you're messaging me on my social media. You're dealing with me directly. And like I said, all of our projects have been funded that way. Shows have been few and far between since COVID. And, I'm always grateful for every show that I get to do. But COVID really kind of killed the live show thing. And that's what was partially going into funding some of these videos. But this one in particular, I think I've got 2 shows scheduled for the rest of the year. So we got a few in the works, but I can't guarantee that. We want to release this by July 4th and have some marketing dollars behind it as well. So anyway, I'll stop talking about that. It's kind of embarrassing to do, but I've got to do it. And if I don't ask, it's always a no.
We appreciate you. You're right.
I met Karen the same weekend I met you. So she's an amazing lady. So that's great that you have her involved for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
People should definitely donate. It's important. Donate.
Definitely.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. So there's Ryan's Instagram. There's his website. And I know we had so many people listening tonight that will reach out to Ryan and support him.
Yeah.
He's a true storyteller.
His videos, go to his website.
A hero. And we're
so, music, sure.
Yes. And we're just so grateful to have you here. Barry, any last things before we sign out tonight? Because I think we could talk to Ryan for 3 hours.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it went so fast. Absolutely. So glad you joined us, Ryan. It's an honor to have you. Just thank you so much for doing this. It's great to see you. And yeah, we have to get together. I gotta fill out that book now.
Yeah, Barry, I miss you, man.
I have a lot to say.
More than anything, I miss you. Other than getting this autograph from one of my heroes, I miss you. We had a great time. A couple of times we did get to hang out together, and I felt like we had known each other for years as well. So hopefully we'll get to see each other again soon. And Lisa, I hope we get to meet in person very soon as well with some of the stuff we were talking about last night.
Yes, I would love that. And my husband, John, knows all about you because I told him everything and I showed him all your videos, and he's excited to meet you as well.
Awesome. And thank you, everybody, for showing up tonight and taking your time out of your evenings. We really appreciate it.
For all the comments. I know Bad Rob's on there. You might want to answer him. He's saying something right now, and we have to jump off, but we'll be back next Thursday, 7 p.m. at Heroic Episodes. And Barry and Ryan stay on because I have to do that thing that I do when we're done. But
Thanks
God
for joining
bless
us.
everyone.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for being here. We'll see you next week at Heroic Episodes, and we will have your friend on, Barry, Angie.
yes, Angie, another talented singer. It's funny, while we were talking, I was almost envisioning a duet with Ryan and Angie, two patriotic singers.
I
You
can
made
see
that
that.
happen.
Be a manager. She's a very talented singer and just sings patriot songs. And you know, you'll see next week. You guys would get along.
I think she and I connected on social media, so that,
Okay.
yeah, we'll definitely have to take a look at
what I'm
that.
talking about. So yeah, so I see a duet in the future.
I love it. All right,
Outstanding.
everyone. Angie's on here. She's saying she can't wait. We'll see everyone next Thursday. Have a good night.
Thanks, everybody.
Be safe.
Yes. God bless.